You might be sitting here feeling the weight of a heartbreak, like someone tore a part of you away and left a void that seems impossible to fill. I want to tell you something that may be hard to believe right now. The end of a relationship does not define your worth. Breakups do not have to leave you broken. They are not a measure of failure, but a signal that something new is waiting for you. Something better, something truer, something that aligns with the life you are meant to live. It is normal to feel pain. It is normal to feel lost. But remember, pain is not a permanent resident. It is a teacher. Every tear you shed, every sleepless night, every moment you replay the past is shaping you, sculpting your resilience, teaching you what it truly means to love and to be loved. The key is not to run from the pain, but to let it guide you. Let it show you where your strength lies, where your boundaries are, and what your heart really desires. You might ask, how do I move on? How do I stop thinking about what was and start believing in what can be? The answer is deceptively simple. Focus on yourself. Not in a selfish way, but in a way that honors your existence, your dreams, and your potential. Reconnect with the things that make your soul light up. Read books that inspire you. Travel even if it is just a walk in a new street. Surround yourself with people who lift you, who see the fire inside you, and remind you that you are whole even when someone else leaves. Breakups often make us question our value. But here is a truth: too many forget your value was never in someone else's hands. Your value has always been within you. It is in your laughter, in your courage, in your ability to rise even when your heart feels shattered. Think of this as a reset. A moment to rebuild yourself, not around someone else, but around your own life, your own purpose, your own joy. Every moment you spend doubting yourself is a moment stolen from your potential to grow. You must understand this truth deeply. Your worth is never defined by someone else's absence. Too many people make the mistake of thinking that when a relationship ends, it somehow diminishes them, as if their value was dependent on another person's presence in their life. But the reality is entirely different. Your value is intrinsic. It exists in the very essence of who you are. It is not measured by how someone treats you, how long they stay, or whether they choose to leave. It is not conditional upon approval, affection, or validation from someone outside of yourself. When a breakup happens, it does not strip away your strengths, your beauty, or your potential. What it does is provide a mirror that reflects exactly where you stand, who you are, and how capable you are of rising above loss. Think about it. When someone leaves, it can feel like the floor beneath you has disappeared. The moments you once shared replay in your mind. You may wonder if you were not enough, if you failed in some way, if something inside you was lacking. These thoughts can be powerful and convincing, but they are illusions. They are not the truth. Your worth is not something that can be given or taken away by anyone else. It is a light that exists within you, constant and unshakable, even if the world seems to disagree. It is found in your courage to keep going, in the way you care for yourself, in the kindness you offer even when it is not returned. Your value is measured by your heart, your mind, and your choices, not by someone else's decision to stay or leave. When a breakup happens, it is natural to look outward for answers. We search for reasons, for explanations, for someone or something to blame. But the more we do this, the more we risk losing sight of the truth. The only validation we truly need is the one we give ourselves. You do not have to prove yourself to anyone. You do not need to beg for affection or fight for attention. The moment you understand that your worth is inherent, independent, and untouchable, you unlock a power that no heartbreak can diminish. You stop seeking approval from those who walked away, and you start finding it in the simplest and most profound places: your own laughter, your own achievements, your own resilience, your ability to keep loving even when it is hard. Breakups often teach us about boundaries and clarity. They show us what we will and will not accept. They reveal the people who were never meant to walk beside us, no matter how much we wish they would. And while this truth can sting, it is also liberating. It means that when someone leaves, it is not a reflection of your inadequacy. It is a reflection of alignment. They were not meant to reflect your value or complete your story. Your story is already whole. Your heart already contains the capacity for joy, connection, and love, regardless of who stays or goes. Recognizing this shifts your perspective entirely. You move from a place of dependence to a place of empowerment. You realize that no one else has the power to define your life, your happiness, or your self-worth. Learning to internalize this truth takes practice and patience. You may still feel moments of doubt, sadness, or fear. That is natural. Allow yourself to feel those emotions without letting them control you. Acknowledge them, but do not let them dictate your sense of value. Every time you choose to stand tall, to honor yourself, to invest in your growth instead of lingering in self-blame, you reinforce the undeniable truth: you are enough. You have always been enough. Your value is constant, like the sun rising each day, independent of anyone else's recognition. So if you are listening to this and still questioning your worth because someone left, stop. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that the absence of another person does not diminish the presence of your light. You are whole. You are complete. You are worthy of love, respect, and happiness simply because you exist. No one's leaving or staying can change that. Your value is yours, unshakable, untouchable, and eternal. Accept it, embrace it, and let it guide you forward into the life you deserve. Pain is a teacher, not a prison. This is something many of us struggle to see, especially in the raw aftermath of a breakup, when every heartbeat seems to echo loss, and every memory feels like a weight pressing down on your chest. It is easy to think that the suffering you feel is meant to trap you, to define you, to make you smaller than you are. But pain is not meant to imprison you. It is not the end of your story. It is a guidepost, a signal that something important is happening inside of you, a call to grow, to reflect, and to understand yourself on a deeper level than you ever have before. When a relationship ends, the first instinct is often to resist the pain. We distract ourselves, we numb ourselves, we try to outrun it with social media, work, or even new relationships. Yet the truth is that avoiding pain only prolongs it. Pain demands to be acknowledged. It insists that you pay attention to what is inside you, to the feelings you have buried, to the truths you have been afraid to face. When you face pain directly, when you allow yourself to feel it fully, you begin to understand that it is not your enemy. It is your teacher, showing you where your boundaries lie, what your desires truly are, and what parts of yourself you may have neglected in the past. Every tear you shed, every night you spend thinking about what went wrong, every moment of longing or anger has a lesson embedded within it. Pain forces you to confront yourself, to ask the difficult questions, and to search for answers that will make you stronger. It teaches patience, because healing is not instant. It teaches empathy, because experiencing hurt allows you to understand the suffering of others more deeply. It teaches resilience, because enduring difficult emotions without giving up proves to yourself that you are stronger than any circumstance. The heartbreak is temporary, but the lessons it offers can last a lifetime if you are willing to see them. Pain also exposes the illusions we carry about love and life. We often believe that love should be easy, that people should always stay, and that endings are failures. But heartbreak challenges those beliefs and asks you to reevaluate your assumptions. It teaches that love is not about possession, but about connection. It teaches that endings are not evidence of inadequacy, but evidence of change. It teaches that the right people and the right circumstances will align when the timing is right. Pain reminds you that life is not about avoiding suffering, but about growing through it. using it as a catalyst to become a stronger, wiser, and more self-aware person. One of the most profound ways pain teaches us is by showing us our own strength. When you feel broken, it can seem as though the weight of loss will crush you. Yet, every time you get out of bed, every time you smile despite the ache in your heart, every time you make a small choice to move forward, you prove to yourself that pain cannot hold you down. Pain is a mirror reflecting your courage back at you. It reveals the depth of your endurance, the breadth of your capacity to love, and the unyielding resilience of your spirit. You discover that you can survive heartbreak, not because it fades quickly, but because you have within you an inner strength that no one can take away. Furthermore, pain teaches gratitude. It makes you appreciate the moments of joy, the people who truly care, and the love you are capable of giving and receiving. It reminds you not to take relationships, connections, or moments for granted. Every heartbreak sharpens your perception, clarifies your intentions, and deepens your understanding of what you want and deserve in life. Pain transforms into wisdom when you allow yourself to learn from it instead of resisting it. So when you feel lost, angry, or overwhelmed by the hurt of a breakup, remember this pain is not your prison. It is your teacher, guiding you towards self-discovery, growth, and transformation. It is shaping you into a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you could have been without it. Embrace it, learn from it, and let it propel you forward. Pain is temporary, but the lessons it leaves behind can carry you to heights you never imagined. Healing begins when you focus on yourself, not the past. It is tempting, after a breakup, to live in what once was, to replay moments over and over, to imagine what if scenarios that will never materialize. The mind clings to memories, to the comfort of familiarity, and even to the pain itself, because it is what you know. But true healing does not come from reliving the past or trying to rewrite it. Healing begins when you turn your gaze inward, when you choose to invest your energy in the one person who has always been with you, yourself. Focusing on yourself does not mean you are selfish. It means you are recognizing that your life, your happiness, and your growth are your responsibility. It means understanding that no one else can complete you, fix you, or define you. The past cannot be changed, but the present and the future are entirely within your hands. Every step you take to nurture yourself, to strengthen your mind, to cultivate joy, is a step toward reclaiming the power that a breakup may have made you feel you lost. This focus is the foundation of true transformation. After a breakup, many people make the mistake of seeking validation outside themselves. They look for attention, for approval, for temporary comfort in ways that only prolong the pain. But when you focus on yourself, you stop seeking validation from others because you understand that your worth and your happiness are already within you. You invest in activities that uplift you, in experiences that remind you who you are, and in relationships that support your growth rather than diminish it. You might rediscover old passions that were put aside, pursue new hobbies that ignite your spirit, or simply spend time reflecting, journaling, or meditating to connect with your inner self. This is not wasted time. It is the rebuilding of your foundation, brick by brick. Focusing on yourself also means creating boundaries that protect your emotional energy. It means learning to say no to people, situations, and habits that drain you. It means prioritizing rest, self-care, and mental clarity. When you are intentional about your own growth, you create space for genuine healing. Every choice you make to honor yourself reinforces your independence and self-respect. You learn to listen to your needs instead of suppressing them, to trust your instincts instead of doubting yourself, and to embrace your emotions instead of running from them. There is power in self-focus because it transforms pain into purpose. When you pour energy into yourself, the sadness of loss gradually becomes less consuming. You start to recognize patterns, to understand your desires, and to gain clarity about what kind of life and relationships you truly want. You reclaim control over your narrative instead of letting the breakup dictate it. Each small decision, whether it is exercising, reading, learning a new skill, or simply taking a quiet walk, becomes an act of empowerment. You are telling the world, and most importantly yourself, that you are not defined by what ended, but by what you are creating. Focusing on yourself does not erase the past, but it shifts the power from memories to action. It transforms longing into strength, regret into insight, and heartache into resilience. The more you commit to yourself, the less the pain of the breakup can dominate your thoughts. You begin to see the ending not as a loss, but as a turning point, an opportunity to redirect your energy toward your own life, your own dreams, and your own growth. You realize that you are capable of experiencing joy independently, of finding peace without needing someone else to provide it, and of building a future that is guided by your values and vision. In this process, you also learn the invaluable lesson that self-love is not a destination, it is a practice. It is showing up for yourself every day, even when it feels hard. It is making choices that reflect your worth, even when the world seems to remind you of absence. Healing happens in those moments when you choose to focus on yourself instead of dwelling on what was lost. It is in the commitment to nurture your mind, body, and soul, and in the patience to allow your heart to recover at its own pace. So, if you are struggling to move on, remember this healing begins when you turn inward. When you focus on yourself, the past loses its grip. You reclaim your power, your joy, and your clarity. You discover that the person you need most in your life has always been with you, yourself. And through that focus, true healing becomes inevitable. Every ending is an invitation to a stronger beginning. It may not feel like it in the moments when a breakup leaves your heart heavy and your mind spinning with questions. It may seem as though the door that closed behind you has left nothing but emptiness in its place. But the truth is, every ending is never truly an end. It is a signal that your life is shifting, that a new chapter is waiting for you, and that growth is possible even when it feels impossible. The moments of loss, the nights of tears, and the age of absence are all preparing you for something greater than what you have known before. Think of life as a series of seasons. Just as winter eventually gives way to spring, moments of sorrow give way to renewal. A breakup is like the winter of your heart, a time when it feels barren, cold, and quiet. Yet beneath that surface, life is still moving, quietly reshaping, quietly nurturing seeds that will bloom into something beautiful. Every ending holds within it the potential for a beginning that is stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your true self. The pain of the past season teaches you lessons, strengthens your roots, and ensures that when the next chapter comes, you are ready to embrace it fully. One of the most powerful ways to see an ending as an invitation is to shift your perspective. Instead of viewing a breakup as a failure, see it as an opportunity. An opportunity to reflect on what you truly want in life, to understand your needs and boundaries, and to recognize the patterns that no longer serve you. Every experience, even the painful ones, carries a lesson that can propel you forward. The heartbreak you feel today is not permanent. It is temporary guidance showing you where to invest your energy, where to protect your heart, and where to cultivate growth. When you embrace this mindset, the pain becomes a teacher, and the ending becomes a gateway to a new beginning. Beginnings after endings are not always obvious at first. They may be quiet, subtle shifts in your mindset, in your daily routines, or in the relationships you cultivate. They may appear as small victories a day when you smile without thinking of the past, a moment when you pursue a passion you had set aside, or an instance when you forgive yourself for mistakes and release what you cannot control. These small beginnings build upon each other until you find yourself standing taller, thinking clearer, and feeling stronger than before. What once seemed like a void transforms into fertile ground, ready for growth and new opportunities. It is also important to recognize that beginnings require courage. They demand that you step forward, even when the path is unclear. Moving on from a breakup does not mean forgetting or erasing the past. It means choosing to live despite it, to thrive despite it, and to believe that the best is still ahead. Courage is found in every decision to honor your own journey, to invest in your own growth, and to refuse to let heartbreak dictate the course of your life. Each step you take, no matter how small, signals that you are ready for the stronger beginning waiting for you. Every ending also invites clarity. It allows you to see who and what truly matters in your life. It gives you the space to rediscover yourself, to reconnect with your dreams, and to realign with your purpose. A breakup can feel like a loss, but it also provides freedom. The freedom to prioritize yourself, the freedom to cultivate the life you deserve, and the freedom to create a future that reflects your values and aspirations. In this way, endings are not obstacles but opportunities in disguise. They challenge you to rise, to learn, and to embrace a version of yourself that is resilient and empowered. When you understand that every ending carries the seed of a stronger beginning, you begin to approach heartbreak differently. You no longer dwell solely on what was lost, but you start to anticipate what can be gained. You shift from despair to hope, from stagnation to action, and from grief to growth. You recognize that your life is not defined by the chapters that ended, but by the chapters you are about to write. You hold the pen, and the story is yours to create. So, if you are struggling to see beyond the pain of a breakup, remember this: every ending is an invitation. It is a quiet nudge from life, urging you to step into a new chapter, to embrace your strength, and to trust that what lies ahead can be more beautiful, more meaningful, and more aligned with who you are meant to become. Self-love is the foundation for all future happiness. It is the quiet force that sustains you when a breakup shakes your world, the compass that guides you back to yourself when loss threatens to pull you off course. Many people believe that love comes from someone else, that validation comes from someone choosing to stay, and that happiness is tied to being wanted. But the truth is far more profound. Real love begins within, and true happiness is rooted in honoring yourself, nurturing your soul, and valuing your own presence in the world. Without self-love, every relationship, every connection, and every experience is incomplete. With it, you become unstoppable. After a breakup, it is easy to lose sight of this truth. You might feel unworthy, undesired, or unlovable. The pain of absence can trick your mind into believing that you need someone else to make you whole. Yet, self-love is the antidote to this illusion. When you learn to love yourself fully, you understand that your happiness does not depend on external approval. You learn to nurture your own needs, to celebrate your own victories, and to comfort yourself in times of sorrow. Self-love is not arrogance or selfishness. It is a deep acknowledgement that you are enough just as you are. It is saying to yourself, I am worthy of care, attention, and joy, and truly believing it. The practice of self-love requires patience and intentionality. It begins with small, deliberate actions. It is in the way you speak to yourself, choosing words that uplift rather than tear down. It is in the way you care for your body, mind, and heart, honoring your health, your emotions, and your limits. It is in setting boundaries that protect your energy and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. Self-love grows each time you prioritize your own well-being, each time you choose to be kind to yourself in moments of doubt, and each time you recognize that your needs are as important as anyone else's. Self-love also allows you to see breakups in a new light. Instead of viewing the end of a relationship as a reflection of your inadequacy, you begin to see it as a chance to honor yourself, to prioritize your growth, and to cultivate the life you deserve. When you love yourself, you are no longer desperate for someone else's validation. You do not chase affection that is not reciprocated, nor do you cling to connections that drain your spirit. Instead, you invest in yourself, in your dreams, and in the people and experiences that truly enrich your life. The strength and confidence that come from self-love are magnetic. They attract the right opportunities and relationships while repelling those that are misaligned with your value. Another crucial aspect of self-love is forgiveness, especially of yourself. In the aftermath of a breakup, it is common to replay mistakes, regrets, and perceived failures. But self-love teaches you to release self-blame and embrace your humanity. You acknowledge that you did your best with the knowledge and resources you had, and that every misstep is an opportunity for growth rather than a mark of shame. By forgiving yourself, you free your heart from the chains of the past and create space for healing, learning, and future joy. Self-love is also about embracing your independence. It is recognizing that you are whole on your own and that happiness does not require constant validation from another person. The more you cultivate this independence, the more empowered you become to pursue your passions, make bold decisions, and step into your purpose without fear. When your sense of self is grounded in love rather than dependence, heartbreak loses its power to define you. You move through life with grace, strength, and confidence, knowing that even when someone leaves, your foundation remains intact. Finally, self-love is contagious. When you love yourself, you radiate confidence, positivity, and resilience. Others are drawn to your energy, and your relationships are elevated because they come from a place of wholeness rather than neediness. You no longer seek to fill a void that does not exist. Instead, you engage with the world as a complete, vibrant, and empowered individual. This is the essence of turning a breakup into a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Because the more you love yourself, the more prepared you are to embrace a future filled with joy, connection, and fulfillment. So, if you are navigating the aftermath of a breakup, remember this: self-love is the foundation on which everything else is built. It is the light that guides you through pain, the anchor that keeps you steady, and the force that ensures your future happiness is not dependent on anyone else. Cultivate it, protect it, and let it transform your life from within. Resilience is built in moments when your heart feels shattered. It is not something that appears suddenly or without effort. It grows quietly, subtly, in the spaces where pain seems unbearable and the world feels heavy. A breakup can feel like the end of everything, a moment when the foundation of your life trembles, and yet it is precisely in these moments that resilience is forged. Each tear, each pang of longing, and each night spent questioning your worth is like a stroke of the chisel, shaping your character and revealing a strength you may not have realized existed. When your heart is broken, it is natural to want to retreat, to hide, and to give in to despair. Yet resilience is born in the opposite choice. It is born when you decide, even when it feels impossible, to take a step forward. One small step, one breath, one action that says, "I will not be defined by this pain." The moments when you feel weak are actually moments of immense opportunity. They are the moments that test your courage, that call on your inner strength, and that push you to discover how much you are truly capable of enduring. Each time you rise after a setback, no matter how small, you build resilience, and with it, the knowledge that no heartbreak, no loss, and no circumstance can destroy the core of who you are. Resilience also grows through acceptance. It is tempting to fight the reality of a breakup, to wish it away, to demand that things should be different. Yet true strength comes when you stop resisting what has already happened. Accepting reality does not mean you approve of it, or that you minimize your feelings. It means you recognize what is beyond your control and shift your focus to what you can change. Your attitude, your choices, and your response. This acceptance opens the door to healing and empowers you to rebuild your life on your own terms. It transforms heartbreak from a cage into a classroom, teaching lessons in patience, perseverance, and self-discovery. Another vital aspect of resilience is perspective. A breakup can make the world feel small and dark, but stepping back allows you to see the broader picture. You realize that this moment, painful as it is not the sum total of your life. It is a chapter, not the whole story. With this perspective, you begin to see challenges not as punishments but as opportunities. You understand that resilience is not simply enduring pain, but learning and growing through it. You begin to appreciate the ways in which setbacks refine your character, clarify your priorities, and deepen your understanding of yourself and others. Each heartbreak becomes a lesson in what matters most and a guide toward a more meaningful and authentic life. Resilience is strengthened through action. Sitting with grief is necessary, but it is also essential to take deliberate steps toward reclaiming your life. Pursue passions that excite you. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. Invest in your growth, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Every choice you make to move forward, to invest in your own joy, and to focus on what you can control builds resilience. Over time, these small actions accumulate, forming a foundation of inner strength that can weather any storm. You discover that your heart is not fragile, but incredibly capable of recovery and renewal. Resilience is also deeply connected to hope. It is the belief that, even in the aftermath of heartbreak, life can offer beauty, connection, and fulfillment again. It is knowing that your current pain does not dictate your future. Hope fuels resilience by giving you a reason to keep going, a reason to trust yourself, and a reason to believe that brighter days are ahead. The stronger your hope, the more resilient you become. And the more resilient you become, the more you realize that you are never truly broken, only temporarily bent, learning to rise stronger than before. Finally, resilience is a reminder that your story is yours to write. Breakups may close a chapter, but they cannot end your narrative. Each experience, each challenge, each heart touch adds depth, wisdom, and strength to the person you are becoming. By embracing resilience, you transform heartbreak into empowerment, fear into courage, and loss into opportunity. You understand that the moments when your heart feels weakest are the very moments when your strength is quietly growing, preparing you for a future that is brighter, fuller, and more aligned with who you truly are. So, if you are struggling to move forward after a breakup, remember this: resilience is built in the spaces where pain feels overwhelming. Every step you take to rise, to heal, and to invest in yourself strengthens your spirit and proves that you are unshakable at your core. Breakups are a stepping stone, not a stop sign. When a relationship ends, it can feel like the world has paused, like life itself has hit an unexpected wall and left you stranded in a place of confusion, sadness, and doubt. But endings are not the final chapters of your story. They are signals, guideposts, and opportunities, stepping stones that, when approached with the right mindset, can launch you toward growth, self-discovery, and a future that is brighter and more aligned with who you are meant to become. A breakup is not a stop sign. It is a moment in time that asks you to shift your perspective and use it as fuel for your journey forward. It is natural to feel stuck after a breakup. You replay memories in your mind, wonder if things could have been different, and question your own choices. These thoughts are part of the process, but they are not permanent. What transforms a breakup from a setback into a stepping stone is the conscious decision to learn, to grow, and to move forward despite the discomfort. Every heartbreak carries lessons that can illuminate your path. It teaches you about your own boundaries, your desires, your strengths, and even your vulnerabilities. The more you embrace these lessons, the more you convert pain into progress. A stepping stone is something you use to cross difficult terrain, Similarly, a breakup provides you with the experience, wisdom, and resilience needed to navigate the next stage of your life. When a chapter ends, it allows you to reassess your priorities, rediscover your passions, and realign with the person you truly want to be. Instead of allowing heartbreak to define you, you can use it to clarify what matters most and identify what you will no longer accept. Each moment of reflection, each decision to care for yourself, and each act of courage becomes a small stone that carries you forward, helping you traverse the challenges of healing and growth. Breakups also teach adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and love is rarely linear. When someone leaves, you are forced to adjust, to reorganize your life, and to find stability within yourself. This adaptability strengthens your character and prepares you for future opportunities, relationships, and experiences. The ability to pivot, to rise despite setbacks, and to embrace change is an invaluable skill, and it is forged in moments when the heart feels shattered. A breakup is not an endpoint. It is a training ground for resilience, flexibility, and self-reliance. Moreover, seeing a breakup as a stepping stone encourages hope. It reminds you that this moment, painful as it is temporary, and that the future holds potential you cannot yet imagine. You begin to understand that every ending creates space for something new. A relationship, a friendship, a passion, or a personal achievement that may have been impossible while you were clinging to the past. The key is to trust that life continues, that opportunities exist, and that your journey is far from over. Each step you take forward, no matter how small, is a victory that reinforces the idea that your story is still unfolding. Breakups also provide the chance to deepen your relationship with yourself. In the absence of another person, you are invited to explore your inner world, to invest in self-growth, and to build the kind of life that brings you fulfillment. You learn that happiness is not dependent on someone else's presence, and that your own joy, purpose, and contentment are yours to create. Each moment spent reconnecting with yourself is a stone placed on the path forward, carrying you toward a life where your self-worth and happiness are independent and unwavering. Finally, recognizing breakups as stepping stones empowers you to embrace the unknown with courage and optimism. Life does not stop when a relationship ends. It expands. The end of one chapter makes way for new experiences, deeper connections, and opportunities to grow in ways you never thought possible. When you walk forward with this understanding, heartbreak becomes a catalyst rather than a chain, a guide rather than a barrier. You transform pain into purpose, loss into learning, and endings into beginnings that propel you toward a stronger, more fulfilled version of yourself. So, if you are standing at the edge of a breakup, feeling uncertain or overwhelmed, remember this: every ending is a stepping stone. It is not a stop sign. With each choice you make to rise, to heal, and to invest in your growth, you are moving forward, building a future that is brighter, wiser, and more aligned with your true self. In the journey through heartbreak, remember that every moment of pain, every tear, and every challenge is shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient person. Your worth has never depended on someone else's presence. Pain is a teacher guiding you toward growth, focusing on yourself, embracing every ending as an opportunity, nurturing self-love, building resilience, and recognizing heartbreak as a stepping stone are the keys to turning loss into empowerment. Life does not stop because someone leaves. It continues, offering new beginnings, new lessons, and new possibilities. Walk forward with courage, with hope, and with the unwavering belief that your heart is capable of healing, your spirit is capable of rising, and your life is capable of unfolding in ways more beautiful than you can imagine. Each ending you face is an invitation to become unstoppable, to reclaim your joy, and to live fully on your own terms. So rise, embrace your journey, and trust that the best chapters of your life are still waiting to be written. Good luck on this path of growth and transformation. Thank you for giving your heart the courage to listen, learn, and believe in the power within you.